Morning folks, and welcome back. I'm out in the woods this morning for three reasons. Firstly, I wanted to try and find my raised bed, which I made last winter. I found it. It was a little bit covered up by pine needles and a little bit overgrown, but there it was, undisturbed. Secondly, I want to cook some breakfast. I've brought some things with me to cook, so I'll get onto that shortly. But thirdly, and the main reason really, is to say a huge thank you. This week I hit a huge milestone on the channel. I've reached 10,000 subscribers, which has just blown me away. You know, I've said this before, I didn't set out to create a successful channel at all. You know, it just started with one video, as I'm sure they all do, you know. But yeah, I'm just stunned and very grateful, so thank you. So I'm in a pine forest today. I wanted to have a fire to cook my breakfast, so I've had to clear away the pine needles and stuff off the forest floor. You know, I've said this before, and I'm sure you know, you've got to be so careful in pine woodland, or any coniferous woodland really, because the needles obviously are quite flammable, and they just lay in a thick blanket over the forest floor. So you need to clear that away and get down to the earth. This area is sand, so I knew that as soon as I hit sand, you know, I was good. I dug through that a little bit and just cleared roots away, just so there's no risk of setting fire to root systems either. But yeah, we're all good. I've got a small fire on the go, and I shall get on and cook some breakfast shortly. So for breakfast this morning, I'm going to cook one of my favourite things. It's devilled kidneys. I've got 4 lamb's kidneys here, which I'm just going to cut the tough bit out of the middle from each one. And I've got a bag here with some seasoned flour, and it's just plain flour, salt and pepper. And I'm just going to, as I cut them up into pieces, sort of, I don't know, inch size pieces, I'm going to put them in the flour just so they coat. This is a Victorian dish, devilled kidneys, and it's gorgeous. It's in a kind of tomatoey, mustardy sauce, and yeah, with onion, really good. Yeah, you don't have to cut that bit out of the middle, but it's quite tough and chewy, so I just tend to get rid of it, to be honest. Very underrated, I think. Kidneys, you know, you sort of come across them in pies and stuff, steak and kidney pie and whatnot, but I love them. They're great. They're not eaten as much as they used to be. So just coat them in the flour, and then just bung them to one side. These bits here I'm going to chuck off into the forest for the wildlife to enjoy. I've got 1 onion. I'm just going to peel it and chop it. I've got some butter. I'll put the recipe for this down in the description, incidentally. And I've got my cast iron skillet. So I ended up moving the onions from down next to the fire on the coals to on top of the fire. They just weren't quite getting enough heat down there. And they're cooking nicely now. You want to basically cook them to soften them and get them to brown a bit like they are doing now. Try not to let them burn. It's probably a bit too much heat up here actually. I want something in between. And once you're happy with the onions, you can put in your kidneys. Just sort of shake the flour off them so there ain't too much flour. Right, those pieces of kidney have all sort of seared all the way around and just sealed. So I'm going to put in the rest of the ingredients now. So we've got some tomato puree. You want a tablespoon of that. Probably about half of that container, I should think. You want a tablespoon of mustard. Proper mustard, proper English mustard, although you probably could use a milder mustard if you want, but I've got Coleman's mustard powder in here, so I'm just going to sprinkle that in. Worcester sauce. And then water. Now the recipe actually calls for 300 mils of water, but I haven't got enough room to fit 300 mils in my in my little pan here, so I'm just going to put in what I can fit, and then top it up as need be. You want to just try and mix this. This pan is too shallow for this. In hindsight, I should have brought a deeper pan, but never mind. It will do. This will all mix up. And then you just want to let that bubble away for about 10 minutes until the kidneys are cooked to your liking. Now while the deviled kidneys are cooking away, I've also bought a Bannock mix with me. So I thought it'd be nice to have it with a little bit of Bannock. So again, I'll put the recipe for this in the description below, but you've seen me make this before, I'm sure. I make the mix up dry at home, and then I just have to add the water once I'm here, and you can mix it up in the bag, and it saves you getting it all over your hands, which is always handy. Your hands get dirty enough out in the woods as it is without adding bread batter or bread mix into the equation. Well, there we go. Not too bad, eh? Bannock is perfect. Try a bit of the sauce. It's a rich sauce. Rich tomatoey, but with that lovely warmth and kick from the mustard. It's really good. I'm actually going to have a little bit more Worcester sauce. I didn't put all of it on when I was cooking it, so I'm going to just sprinkle this over the top. Let's try one of the kidneys. Oh, they're really good. Kidneys can be a bit tough if you overcook them. These are just spot on. Well, breakfast was good. Right, on to the third reason for being out here in the woods today. I'm doing a giveaway as a way of saying thank you to all those who've subscribed to me and supported me over the last 18 months or so. I've got two prizes I'm going to be giving away. There's a first prize and a kind of runner-up prize, and they're both here. They're both cook kits. The first prize is a 750 milliliter titanium cooking pot with normal handle so you can use it as a mug, and a bail handle so you can hang it up over your fire. It comes with a lid. And then inside, you've got this little bag here, and this contains a stove. You may have seen my video I did recently on making a wood gasifying stove. Well, this is one of them. I actually made 3 of them in the end. And so one of these will be in that cup as well. And it's a wood gas stove, a twig stove. You've got a combustion chamber inside, and you load that up with your wood. And it works differently to a normal stove in that it draws air in and burns the gases given off by the primary combustion of the wood. So you get a much more efficient burn, more sort of heat output, if you like, for the same amount of wood. And then that's got a little pot support which sits on the top. It's kind of based on the Bush Buddy solo stove type of wood gas stove. And yeah, that's basically it. Really lightweight, and your pot sits on top nicely like this. Okay, so in addition to that, there's also a little pop can alcohol or methylated spirit stove. This is made from 2 Red Bull cans, and then the inside is packed with carbon felt, so it sort of absorbs the methylated spirits as you put it in, stops it evaporating so quickly, and it also means that if you don't use it all up in your one burn, you can extinguish this, and the carbon felt kind of holds the methylated spirits a bit, so it doesn't all leak out everywhere. So you get one of those, and you just literally, there's a fill hole in the top. You fill that up with your methylated spirits, and wait for it to bloom. And you know, when all the flames come out of these little jets around the side, and you can cook on that. It's a good blue hot flame. Works really well. You can either sit your pot directly on that, like this, because the holes are on the outside, so that won't extinguish anything. You know, the flames will still lick around the outside of the pot. Or you can use the pot support off the wood burning stove, and that works quite nicely as a pot stand as well. Okay, so you've got two options there. Also, in the bottom of the wood gas stove, there'll be a little canister like this, which fits in there nicely. This is one of those Light My Fire Maya dust containers. I found that they fit perfectly in there, and I've just packed that with a load of birch bark, so there'll be some tinder in there. So you know, you've got enough to get going. You can go straight out into the woods with it, and you've got some tinder to start your fire off in your wood gasifying stove. Now, if you watched that video that I did on making this, you'll notice that there was one slight design flaw, in that it burnt whatever surface you put it on. I lit mine for demonstration purposes on a log, and it burnt the log. So I've also included a little disc of carbon felt, so you can just sit your stove on that, on whatever surface you're going to be using this on, and it should protect the surface from the heat, okay, because that's sort of fireproof. And the other thing that's in there is a little windshield. Okay, this is just made out of one of those baking sheets, super lightweight, and you know, it just sits in there. Everything packs into itself, so the tinder box goes on the bottom, the windshield, the pot support slips over the bottom of the stove like this, your little alcohol stove goes inside, that goes inside the bag, which goes down inside there, and then your little carbon felt pad just slips down in there next to it, and lid on. This is like Russian dolls, isn't it? And then into this little pouch here. So that is first prize. Oh, there's one more thing. Actually, there's 2 more things. There's a little folding titanium spork as well, which you'll get with that first prize as well. Just folds out like that. Yeah. And the other thing is I'm going to include a little fuel bottle for methylated spirits or alcohol. I've ordered it, but it didn't arrive in time. So that'll be in there as well. It's a little 30ml Nalgene, little Nalgene bottle, basically. They're good for fuel. That's what I usually carry my fuel in. So yeah, that's first prize. Second prize is this one here. This is a 400ml titanium pot or cup. It doesn't have the bail handle. It does have the handles on the side, so it's quite a bit smaller. And then inside there are a couple of bits and pieces. There is a windshield, just like in the first prize, designed to go with your little alcohol stove. So there's a alcohol stove just like in the other pot. A little Red Bull stove, okay, runs on methylated spirits or alcohol. So you've got a windshield to use with that, and a fuel bottle. This is also a Nalgene bottle, but the slightly bigger one. This one didn't fit in the first prize, so I've had to order the smaller bottle, if you see what I mean. So that's what you'll get: cup, windshield, fuel bottle, and alcohol or meths stove. And they all just slip down inside the cup like that. Lid on. And in this little pouch. So those are the two prizes. This competition is open to subscribers of the channel, so if you're not already a subscriber, hit the button and don't forget the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and you'll get notified of all the upcoming videos. In order to enter, I'd like you to like the video and leave a comment in the section below just saying that you're in, or words to that effect. Just let me know that you want to be counted in the draw. I'll be holding the draw in 2 weeks' time. Today is Sunday, so 2 weeks, that'll be the 2nd of December. So 2nd of December, 12 midday GMT is when I'll hold the draw. So good luck, and once again, thank you. So next week, I'm really excited. I'm off on a trip with Andy from Kent Survival again. We're going in the canoe to a little island that I know, and we're going to have a kind of bushcraft overnight camp on the island. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about and plan for future videos that we're going to be doing together, which is really exciting. So yeah, tune in for that. That should be good fun. But in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you soon.